Just a disclaimer that no yogis were hurt in the actual filming of this. It's actually all being done by guys and inflexible guys of various ages and body types. So we're going to start this class as we start every class of this kind of the yoga classes. We're going to just do some seated breathing. So we're just going to sit, and the important part of this seated breathing is that we take our feet firmly on the ground, about hips distance apart. We have a ball or a block or book or whatever you want to put there. And the reason for that is to squeeze that just a little bit and lift up. So feel yourself lifting up. From the waist down, descend down. Your feet are firmly planted on the ground. Your hips are firmly seated. And you're in a comfortable right angle to the chair. And from your waist up, you are ascending. So at this point, I just want you to take maybe 5 or 10 full deep inhalations and exhalations. And it's sort of a 3-part breath where you are going to inhale fully into the abdomen, middle ribs, upper chest, and then exhaling out through the middle, the top, the middle, and the abdomen. Full deep inhalation. Full deep exhalation. And the point of this is just to calm the system down, to get ready for your yoga practice of the day, to perhaps create an intention of what you may want to work on, what you're thinking about, and just to really dedicate yourself to the practice of yoga. So full easy inhalation, full easy exhalation, slightly squeezing the ball or the piece, whatever you have between your legs, to create some tension in terms of lifting up and engaging your core, your navel to the center, to the spine, to lift up and create the framework for breathing. When we're collapsed, we cannot fully breathe. So we're trying to create the body structure for full deep inhalation, full deep exhalation, calm everything down, settle, and prepare for class. And as we go into various yoga poses, the breath remains a constant. Mindful, conscious breathing gives us the ability to be flexible. If you're clutching at your air, if you're going, you will lose that ability to flex. So I will often remind people, when you go into a pose, find that first resistance point where it's easy. Because if you go right to the end and you're not breathing, then there's no flexibility, there's no yoga, there's no movement. So this is a practice that both calms the mind and stretches the body. Yoga is the union of body and mind, the yoke. That's the general translation. Good. So now we're going to do some, coming back to center, we're just going to roll our heads. We're just going to roll, gentle roll of the head on top of the shoulders. Just roll one side and roll together. We're just loosening up. And we're squeezing the ball at the same time. And back to center. And now we're going to roll up the spine. So from the base of the spine, we're going to inhale and roll up and create extension in the back. And then exhale, roll down the spine. And inhale and roll up the back. So from the base of the spine, just working through your vertebrae. This is very much a seated cat and cow pose that we may do later on all fours. But you're rolling through and creating extension in the back and exhaling and rolling back down. Nice, relaxing. We're squeezing the ball, inhale and rolling up the spine. Exhale, roll back down. And one more time. Inhale, roll up the spine. Exhale, roll back down. And come back to center. And let's just roll the shoulders back, getting everything nice and loose. And then roll the shoulders forward. There's a lot of tension in the shoulders. We're just trying to loosen that up. All right, come back to center. And inhale and bring the arms straight up. And roll up onto your toes. Stretch up to the fingertips and bring the hands back down. And inhale, roll up. Pop up onto your toes. Stretch up to the fingertips. And exhale and come back down. Squeezing the ball. And inhale and roll up the spine. Stretching up through the fingertips. And exhale and bring it back down. Good. And take the arms straight out in front. And now we're going to inhale and stretch the arms forward. And exhale and bring the scapula together. So this is the look of the scapula here. Stretch out. And the scapula come back. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, scapula comes back. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, scapula. These are fairly simple exercises, but just so important for the basic flexibility. And stretch out. And bring it back. All right, and hold it. And now inhale. And stretch out. Exhale. Open up the chest. Inhale. And exhale. Open up the chest. And inhale. And open up the chest. It's a good day to do yoga. And open up the chest. Good. One more time. Inhale, stretch in. And exhale out. And place the hands onto the knees. So again, a reminder of the core, to engage the core. This is a place that creates so much support. There's an oval-shaped muscle here from below the diaphragm down into the pelvic floor. And this, we're engaging this to lift up. When we collapse, we're not able to breathe. But the reminder to bring your navel to your core to lift it. And I'm not talking about puffing the chest, yeah? I'm talking about engaging the core. It doesn't necessarily involve sticking the chest out. Feeling that engagement there in the core muscles, yeah? Okay. So very pressing down with the feet. Take your right arm and bring it straight up. Bring your left arm and bring it underneath and grab either any part of your arm that you might be available there. Your hand could be on your calf. It could be there if that's the best you can do, whatever you can do. No judgments on that. It's whatever. This is the Inflexible guide, wherever you are. But now you're obviously getting some nice openness in the scapula, the shoulder blades. They are opening up as you stretch and engage. Breathe. Remember that full deep inhalation, full deep exhalation. Still happening here. All right, now slowly release the pose. And let the arms shake out. Good. Other side. Bring the left arm up. The right arm comes underneath, wraps around. Lifting up, navel to spine. Feel that stretch. Engage. Breathe. We're getting openness and broadness in the back. Squeeze the ball. A lot of things going on. And release. Shake the arms out. One more time. Right arm up. Left arm underneath. I'm mirroring these poses for those who are watching at home. Inhale. And exhale. Good deep inhalation and deep exhalation. And release. And one more time. Bring the left arm up. Right arm underneath. Wrap around. Good. Full deep inhalation. Full deep exhalation. Nice. Good. And release. Nice. And just let that shake out. Not that. We're getting flexible here. All right. So now go up onto your toes. And roll down. Toes are a very neglected part of our bodies. We just don't use them, especially as guys. So they just get kind of packed around. So and now alternating, right, left. So we're alternating walking. And there we go. We're stretching through. Good. We're stretching slowly as if you're walking through mud. Nice stretch through the feet. Good. All right. Good. And now I think we're going to be done with the ball for a little while. So take the ball out and just put it to the side. Good. And we're going to take the right foot and we're going to roll over the toes. This is not always a popular position, but it gets good circulation. And if you can't roll over the toes, just go up onto your toes. But whatever mutation of this or version of this you can do. Okay, bring it back and roll over your left toes. Or get on your left toes. And still try to hold everything up. So imagine the ball is still there so that you're holding everything up there. Squeeze down from there. Good. And bring it back. And now a little extra challenge, both feet. Put both feet in. And bring the arms up. Stretch. Navel to spine, stretch up through the fingertips. Imagine you're squeezing a ball between your hands. Lift up through the chest. Good. Good day to do yoga. And bring the arms down. Bring the feet back out. Good. Section 3. Bring your right knee up. Yeah, right knee. There we go. I'm trying to do it opposite for you folks at home. Okay, so bring the right knee up and just roll the ankles. And try not to lean back too much. Try to engage the core. Try to move the elbows away from each other. So ankles go to the right, ankles to the left. Some nice movement there. Good. And now reach underneath your knee. And slowly straighten the leg out. Lifting and supporting, moving the elbows away from each other, engaging the core. Bend the knee, bring it back in. And again, stretch it out. Good. And bend. And one more time, stretch it out. And now point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, bend the knee, bring it back in, place it back down. And left knee. Bring the left knee up. And just roll. So try to keep the knee directly in line with your hip. In other words, don't let it roll out to the side or inside, but directly in line with your hip. And we're engaging the core again. It's a combination of a little bit of Pilates and yoga here where we keep the core stable as we do the poses. Good. Point and flex. Okay, and now reach underneath the leg, supporting and lifting up, broadening through the chest, elbows away from each other, and slowly straighten the leg. Slowly bend the knee. And slowly straighten the leg. Bend the knee. And slowly straighten the leg. And now point, flex, point, flex. Lifting up, point, flex. Good. It's nice to have this gentle flexibility. Good. All right, and bring the knees back down. And sit up. And now lift the right leg up. And we're going to grab, with the right hand, we're going to grab the knee. With the left hand, we're going to grab the foot. Yeah? Like so. Like you're cradling your foot. Yeah? And it could be just your ankle. There you go. And we're going to take it out to the side. And then we're going to take it across our body. And then we're going to sit back. And now you can make contact with the back of the chair and sit back and just feel the hip socket. Giving any kind of stretch you can in your hip socket. Yeah? And now we're going to place it cross-legged on top of the left foot, the left knee. Yeah? All right. And now I want you to take your right hand and place it on your right thigh and roll what I call the groin muscle out that way, away from the center, lifting up and rolling the groin. Yeah? And the amount. Good. Now place your hands behind you on the chair and extend. Create a back bend. Extend up and see if you can get some space in that groin as you stretch back. So what we're looking for is some space in that groin as you lift and stretch up. Good. And come back to center. So we're trying to create, generally our groins are very tight and they roll in together in this exercise and a lot of exercises. So let's do it again, let's stretch back. We're trying to create openness in the groins and the thigh muscles. And come forward, and one more time, let's stretch back. Oh, it's a good stretch. If you could only see how happy all these guys are. All right, and bring the knee back in and place it back down. We're all so happy to be doing this, to have these bodies and getting to do this. We should all be grateful. All right, so let's do it on the other side so we're not. So the idea is we're cradling the whole leg here. So we're doing on the left side now, so we're holding the left knee with the right hand and grabbing the foot. And we're going to take it out to the side. So we're doing lateral rotation out to the side. You can hold the foot with your other hand, yeah. Mm-hmm. And now take it all the way across your body. And now roll back and feel that hip socket, any amount. Just hug it back any amount so you feel the hip socket. Just any amount of stretch there in the back of the quads. And now place that on your foot. And again, so I didn't mention this on the other foot, but if you can think about not sickling the foot, but pushing the heel out to create more extension in the groin. And make sure your knee is directly above your heel. Okay, so that you're not out like that or in like this. Your knee is directly out over your heel. And now place your hand on your left groin, on your left thigh, and roll it out. Not on the knee. We never want to put pressure, lateral pressure on the knee. The knee does not rotate that way. But on the thigh will give you some rotation, and creating space at the hip is what we're trying to do. We're trying to create some space in the hip. We all want hip space, don't we? That's why we're here. It's good to have hip space. All right, so, and now take the hands behind you on the chair. And so this action is creating extension. Inhale and come forward, and exhale and create extension. Shoulders in profile. Extension is a kind of back bend. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, extend back. And come back. Good. And place the leg back down. So in general, just to review, this is extension, this is flexion. Extension, flexion. And in general, we want extension. We spend a lot of our lives looking at phones, computers. We're in this pose most of the time, many hours a day. So we're trying to create openness in the chest and extension, and a lot of these poses are about that. So take the soles of your feet together, create a nice diamond shape here. Scoot onto the edge of your chairs. I like to keep everyone on the edge of their chairs. Good. And and now notice where your knees are. They might be here, they might wherever they are. And just see where they are. Now, take your hands behind you. Inhale and extend. Create a back extension. And see if you don't notice that you get more extension from your thighs and your arms. And exhale and come back to center. Inhale and extend and open up the groins. Nice open groins. Yes, we're very happy about this. And bring it back together. And inhale one more time and open up the groins. This is the clam opening up, yeah? The open clam. Bring it back together. We'll be steaming them later. All right. Bring the legs back together. Good. So next extension is going to be a side angle stretch on the chair. We're going to take our legs, everyone's favorite pose. I know you guys have been missing this one. Nice wide pose. So get this pose as wide as you can. Remember again this idea of a right angle here at the knees, yeah? So that you have tensegrity. The pose has tensegrity. And that if the knee is out like that or if it's in like this, you're creating extra pressure at the knee. So creating a nice tensegrity at the knee. All right? So start by placing your hands on both of your groins and rolling them away from the midline. Rolling them back behind you, okay? Now inhale and bring the arms straight up. And breathe. And let's just take a breath here. Stretch up. Palms are facing each other. Nice stretching out through the fingertips. Okay, so this is going to be a side angle pose. It's a pose that sometimes you'll do standing up, but the nice thing about doing it in a chair is you don't have to worry about the balance as much, okay? So we're going to bend the right arm and place it on the right leg, and we're going to stretch over the side, creating length, lifting up the rib cage and stretching over the side. And if you're comfortable in this pose, you can also turn and twist and look up underneath your arm. Breathe. Remember, if you find you've stopped breathing, back off the pose a little bit and come back to center. So that concept is that you don't need to go, so we're going to go to the left this time, bend the left arm. So you don't need to go all the way out into your pose right away. You can take a breath. So I've stopped this pose in a very beginning position in this pose. And now I'm going to inhale and I'm going to take it deeper. And there's no rush. There's no rush to flexible because we won't get there. It's a slow journey, and that's the process. So see if you can inhale, and as you exhale, take a little bit more stretch to the side. And come back to center, both arms up. And often we'll do the pose twice. So here we go again, over to the right, bending the right arm, stretching the left arm out over the ear, it goes out over the ear. And the groins are still, the thighs are still rolling back. And both feet are seated firmly on the ground. The metatarsals, the feet are, the toes are making contact. Good, and we're breathing, extending. Inhale, come back to center, stretching up. And one more time, exhale, move to the left, bending the left arm, stretching the right arm out over the ear. And if you can turn and twist and look under. And make sure you're not stretching back. You're not rolling back towards the back of your chair, but you're going directly sideways over your side any amount. Good. And come back to center. Stretch up. Grab the elbows and just roll down gently. And just hang there for a moment. Just for a moment, just release the neck, release the head. Mm-hmm. And exhale and gently roll back up the spine. Place the hands on the knees. Bring the feet back together. So, sitting up. So just a reminder, this is just such a basic thing, but that a lot of times when we get out of chairs, we get them out like this, we get this weird twisting action. This is the core muscle that will help you getting out of chairs in life and building up the core. So we're going to engage the core. And in this particular instance, we're going to just rock forward and feel the core, yeah? And then rock back. So feel the navel of the spine as you come forward and come back. Inhale, engage the core, feel everything lifting up. Take your feet firmly on the ground and come back. And now we're going to come an inch off the chair. Inhale, just an inch off the chair and sit back down. Engage in the core, inch off the chair and come back down. And 3 inches off the chair and come back down. And now 4 or 5 inches off the chair and stay there. Bring the arms up, stretch up. And inhale and bend and sit back down. So you can see this is a very difficult, or can be a very difficult exercise that you need to work on. And if you can't do this right away, just do it with a couple inches off the chair, or just a little bit of lift. You don't need to go all the way, but this is, the idea is engaging the core muscles and the glutes when you stand up. So again, we're going to go place the hands on the knees, engage the core, inhale and come halfway off the chair. Sit back down. And halfway off the chair. Sit back down, and now we're going to come all the way up. Bring the arms up to the side, stretch them up, and bring them back down into what we call prayer or namaskar asana. And then bring the arms to the side. Good. So now let's bring the arms straight up again. And now we're going to take, this is called the mighty. We're going to bend the knees as if we were going to sit. And come back up. So this is from the other side. So again, engaging the core as we stretch up to the fingertips, palms facing each other, engaging the core, and come into a seat. And hold. So as if your bottom was going to sit in a chair right behind you. Broaden the shoulder blades, stretch up through the fingertips, engage the core, come back up. One more time, and inhale and stretch down. Palms, soles of the feet, taking the floor, making sure the heels and the feet are aligned with the hips, and come back up. And bring the arms to the side. Nice. All right, so stand in Savasana, in front of your chair there. All right, so mountain pose, Tadasana. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. A little reference there, I have to pay copyrights on that. All right, so standing with our feet directly underneath our hips. Just feel where your weight is, just spend a moment. See if your weight is evenly distributed between your toes and your heels. Roll around on them a little bit. Find out where your weight is. Where the weight in your body is. Just roll, just gentle rolls on the feet and the toes. Good. And come back to center. And we're going to bring our hands together and roll them up. Bring up the chest. Nice, easy, open shoulders. Inhale. Open the shoulders, open the chest. Nice breath. And now, if it's appropriate, as you bring your arms up, you're going to go up onto your toes. And come back down. And onto your toes. And come back down. And onto your toes. And back down. And onto your toes. And this time, stay up if you can. Stay up on your toes for a moment. Stay up there. Yeah. And come down. Good. And take your arms behind your back, interlock the fingers, open up the chest. There's a lot of opening in this yoga form. We're opening the chest, we're opening the groins, we're creating space. The body gets closed off, we're trying to create space. All right, inhale and stretch up. Exhale, grab your elbows and gently roll forward. So this is flexion. In general, we avoid it, but there's a little bit of nice, just releasing of the neck, releasing the head in the forward bend. So we're just relaxing, letting the neck be loose. The knees are not locked, though the legs are straight, but do not lock the knees. Just let everything just sway and hang. And inhale and roll up the spine. Stretch up. And bring your arms back together. Excellent. We're doing very well. All right. So now we're going to take our chairs and put it on the front of our mats. This is some salutes with chairs. And I'm going to do this in profile. I'm going to take this back a little bit. Some salutes with chairs. So we're going to come up right next to the chair, and we're using the chair. This pose can be done on the floor, but it's a nice way to break it in to do it first on a chair. Gives you a little more leeway and a little more space and nice openness. So we're going to inhale and we're going to stretch up. We're going to exhale and roll down the spine and place our palms on the chair. We're going to inhale and curve the back and look up. So this is an extension. Then we're going to exhale and step back into what we call plank or push-up pose. Yeah, we're on our toes. Nice. And now we're going to push back into what we call downward facing dog on the chair. So we're pushing back into the palms, back into the heels. Yeah? So push back, broaden the shoulders. And now there's a back bend going on in the back. It's not a forward bend. So from the base of the spine, you're curving and you can kind of slightly look up to create a small arch there. All right, now your heels may not be on the ground, but you want to create a right angle to the ground from your knees, yes? Everyone got that? Everyone's looking good. All right. So now go up onto your toes. Nice. And gently roll down the spine.
and go up onto your toes and roll down the spine and push into the chair. And one more time, roll up and push down. And keep your hands flat on the top of the chair. There you go. All right, now we're going to do something called walking the dog. So we're going to bend the right knee, then bend the left knee. So you're basically walking, and what you're doing here is you're getting to stretch the hamstrings, the back of the calves gently while you breathe and stretch back through the legs. This is a nice way to stretch. Guys tend to have really tight hams, calves. This is a nice way to stretch it out. A few more of those. Okay, just stretching through. This is a nice way to just walk the dog. All right, now place the heels back down. Inhale and walk your feet in to the chair. Exhale, roll down onto the chair, place your weight down. Now inhale and slowly from the base of your spine, roll up the spine and stretch up. Bring your arms up together. Bring the hands down into prayer pose. And inhale and stretch up again. And exhale, roll down the spine. Place your hands on the chair. Inhale, look up, curve the spine up. Exhale, step back into plank pose. So this is like a push-up type position. Good. There we go. We're in plank position. Inhale and now push back into downward facing dog. Make sure your hips are at a right angle, and you ideally want your chest to be perpendicular to the floor. So push back into your hips. Push back into your hips. Use your hands to push back into your hips. Yeah? Creating space. All right. You're going to take your right leg. We're going to go now into warrior pose number 1. So we're going to bring our right leg all the way forward underneath the chair. Keeping our hands on the chair. We're going to square our hips to the chair. So our hips are squarely in line with the chair. The right leg is bent. We're going to bring our hands onto our hips. We're going to right angle bend with it. And the feet are parallel. Good. And now bring the arms straight up. Warrior pose. And now lean into the lunge. There's a lunge this pose. Excellent. Good. Nice, gentle lunge. Push up, look up through your hands. Palms are facing each other. Press back into the back heel. Bend the front leg. Make sure the knee is directly over the heel. All right, bring the hands down onto the chair. And bring the right leg back into downward facing dog. And stretch back into your heels. Good. Inhale, bring the left leg forward. Parallel feet. Bend the left knee. Square your hips to the chair. Bring your hands onto your hips. So this is the moment to just check your alignment here. Okay, make sure you are leaning forward. You have your weight on that leg. You're lifting everything up. Inhale, stretch the arms up, palms facing each other. Warrior pose number 1, Virabhadrasana 1. These are classic yoga poses, stretching up through the fingertips. Good. Breathe. Remember that part about finding the soft edge to the pose and then building into it. So as you can hold the pose longer, you can take the deeper lunge. Yeah? If that's available to you, if not. And at any time, come out of these poses sooner than later, if you need to. Bring the hands down. Don't go by what I'm showing you here. You need to come out earlier. Bring the left leg back and stretch back into downward facing dog. Good. And walk your feet in. And release the weight down onto the chair. And then inhale and roll up the spine. Inhale and stretch the palms up. And bring the hands down together into Namaskarasana. Good. How's everybody doing? Triangle pose with the chair.
See how I'm doing that time. Okay, so triangle pose, classic yoga pose. And again, we're going to get into it from the sun salute. The sun salute is a variation that always starts with a downward dog, a roll down, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. But we're going to go into triangle pose from the sun salute. So we're going to inhale, we're saluting the sun, so we're going to inhale and stretch up. Exhale and roll down the spine. Inhale, curve up. Exhale, step back into plank pose. Push back into downward facing dog. Press the heels down. All right. So we're going to bring the right leg forward, place it underneath the chair. So bring it way further than you did before. Now, line up the right heel with the left instep. So turn the back leg perpendicular to the front leg. Turn the back leg across so the heel is lined up with the instep, yeah? Now place the right hand firmly on the chair. Now in this case, both legs are straight. And now we're going to push off the chair and stretch up into Trikonasana. Utthita. Tuck the hips underneath. Good. So press back through the little toe side of the back foot. Good. Nice. And bring the hand back down. And bring the right leg back. Stretch back through the heel. All right, now bring the left leg forward. All the way forward. Now line up the heel with the instep, yeah? Now tuck the hip underneath you. Place the left hand firmly on the chair. This is the support system. Straighten the legs and turn and bring the arm up to the sky. Now if it's available to you, you can twist up a little bit. Create a little bit of twist there. Yeah? And bring the arms back down. And bring the left leg back. Stretch back into downward facing dog. We're going to do triangle one more time. So bring the right leg forward. Now take your time. There's no rush on this triangle pose. Get the position you want and don't push into the position until you're ready. So line up the heel with the instep. Take the weight firmly with your right hand. Straighten the legs. Roll your left groin out behind you. Roll this groin away. The back groin. Roll it back towards the back wall. Now turn and look up at the hand. So you want to tuck the hips underneath you if possible. And bring the left arm back around. Place it down. Push back into downward facing dog. So you create space by creating length. And bring the left leg forward. Take your time. Line up the heel with the instep. Put the left arm down firmly. You can make this a little narrower if it gives you more stability. Now you press off of the left arm, straighten the legs, and open up into Utthita Trikonasana. Now tuck the hips underneath you. The hips want to stick out in the middle of the room behind you. Tuck them underneath you. Press down into the chair, stretch up through the fingertips. Good. And bring the hands back down. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Good length. Inhale. Walk your feet forward. Exhale, release down. And inhale and roll up the spine. And stretch up. And bring the hands down into Namaskaras. Very nice. Triangle pose. Try it at home. You can do this in your spare time. So doing any of these poses just a little bit every day is preferable to, doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes, pick one pose, do a little bit. If you can do a little bit, if you can create a yoga practice at home where you can do a little bit, you can just do downward dog every day. If you can do a little bit of warrior pose, that's creating space and mobility in the body. You use a bar. If you don't have a bar at home, you use a wall. But this is a way of doing tree pose that helps you build the balance and stability. So we're going to take our weight to the right side, and we're going to lift our left leg up And you're just going to feel the balance. So just for a moment, don't put it up into tree pose. Just hold the balance. Just feel the balance in one leg. Just feel, and see if you can take your hands away from the wall. Just balancing, feeling that, and bring your leg back down. So just feel where the balance is. And now take your weight to the left side and bring your right leg up. Feel the balance. Feel where that is on your body. Alright, and bring that back down. Hitting our rear view now. Alright, so now we're going to take our weight to the right side, and this time we're going to take our left leg and turn it out, and you can either kickstand it, if you're just starting out, or you can put it on your calf, or you can, if you feel like you can put it higher up on the leg. But it should not be on your knee. Alright? So now, because the knee is a joint that will not take that flexibility. So placing that, now tuck your hip underneath you. Bring your hip underneath you, left hip underneath you, yes. All right, now, if it's appropriate, bring your hands together. So you've brought the hip together, hands together, if that's appropriate. And then take the arms. And the nice thing about doing this against the wall is you can really feel the balance there. All right? Very nice. Bring the hands down and place the hands back onto the wall, onto the bar or on the wall. And take a moment to just feel where your balance is. All right, take your weight to the left side and bring your right leg up onto it. Tuck your hips underneath you, right hip underneath you. If your hip is sticking out into the middle of the room, you're not going to be able to balance. You need to tuck the hip underneath you. You need to resist the leg. The standing leg is going to resist into the foot against it. All right, now bring your hands together if that's appropriate. Find your balance. Tuck the hip underneath you. And if it's appropriate, take your arms straight back. Very nice. Stretch up through the fingertips. Okay, this is tree pose, Vipassana. Very nice. And bring the hands back down. And release the leg down. So we're going to do this pose a second time. In general, we want to do poses more than once. And they generally become more. So again, the idea of tucking that hip underneath you, the hip that sticks out behind you in the middle of the room, will throw your balance out. So taking your weight onto your right and bringing your left leg up, placing it wherever it is. Now first, before you even take your hands off the wall, tuck the hip underneath. Now engage your core. Remember the core. Engage the core, lift up through the core. Yeah? That will help your balance. And then bring the hands together. Balance. Breathe. If it's appropriate, take the arms up. If not, just feel the balance. And the reason I actually like to get you to practice against the wall is then it takes the balance of looking. If you turn this around and look out into the middle of the room, the balance is much harder. But now you're looking, staring right at a wall, and you have a reference point, and there's a good place to get your balance. Okay, bring the hands back down. Place your hands on the wall and gently release the leg back down. And feel the weight between your fingers, your toes, and your heels. Good. And now, one more time. Weight onto the left, bring the right leg up. Place it wherever is appropriate on your leg. Tuck the right hip underneath you. Roll that groin, that common theme of rolling the groin out. Engage the core. Bring the hands together if that's appropriate. Breathe. If it's appropriate, take the arms and stretch them up. Find the extension. Nice. Very nice. And bring the hands back down. And slowly place the hands on the wall and release the leg back down. And just holding the wall here, just to lift up and breathe and look up, roll up the spine. And exhale and walk your feet back into one more downward dog stretch against the wall. So stretching back through your ankles. Good. And walk your feet back in. And roll on the spine. Good. And turn back around. And sit down on the floor. See if you can find where your balance point is here. just roll back and see if you can find a place where you can lift your legs up off the floor and come back down. Inhale, lift up, and excellent. Just roll back. Good. And come back down. So we're using our core muscles here. And you're going to roll back. And now, if it's appropriate for you, see if you can straighten the legs a little bit. Whatever amount is appropriate. Very nice. And then the knees. And bring them back down. So we are using our core muscles, yeah? Good. It's a good day to do yoga. Roll back and stretch out. A common theme. And bend the knees and come back. And one more time. Roll back. Stretch out to the knees. And come back down. Good. All right, take the feet back out. Bring the soles of the feet together. Take your hands behind you. And again, common theme, extension. Roll back, open up the chest, open up the heart. And notice how when you open that chest and lift up, that you get more space in the legs, yeah? Everyone see that? When you open, you create space everywhere. When you close everywhere. One more time, inhale and stretch out. All right, you guys been working hard. Let's lie down on our backs. Our favorite part. So lie down on your backs. And we're going to roll our spine onto the ground. So when on the inhale, you're going to bring your navel up a little bit. And on the exhale, you're going to flatten into the ground. So you're imprinting your spine into the mat. Inhale, there's a curve. The lower curve of the lower spine curves. Exhale, you flatten. Inhale, curve, natural curve of the spine. Exhale, flatten. So there's a pelvic rock really. Make sure your feet are hips distance apart and your knees are not splaying out to the side, front, or back, but they're all in line. All right, so now inhale, let the curve come in, exhale, flatten, and lift the hip up off the ground, any amount, and roll your shoulders towards your feet, and lift up, good, and roll, and bring your heels closer to your bottom the second time, get them as close to your bottom as you can. Inhale, the curve comes in, exhale, lift up. If it's appropriate, take your hands and put them underneath your hips to push them up just a little bit. And press your hands underneath the hips, any amount. Make sure your knees are not splaying out to the side. And exhale and come back. Good, and just release. And inhale and stretch one more time. Stretch up, up, up. Roll your shoulders towards your heels. Any amount of extension. Let the palms of the hands roll up. Create length. Create extension. Good. And come back down. Hug your knees to your chest. And roll around on your sacrum. A nice little circular roll here on your sacrum. And go the other way. Savasana. Lying on your back. Take a cushion or pillow. In this case, I'm just going to roll up the mat a couple times. It's good to have a cushion near you. But something to give a little bit of support underneath your head. So you're going to roll your chin down towards your chest. Your eyes, though closed, roll down towards the heart center. You can take your arms, place them on the ground, and have the thumb side rolling away from the center to open the chest. Savasana translates as corpse pose. So you're just releasing down into the earth and breathing. The same breathing that we started with. Full abdominal breath, middle rib, upper rib, focus in Shavasana is simply on the breath. You are just releasing down to the ground. The challenge of Shavasana is one, to just be present in the breath, to not go off onto the next task of the day, the next errand, but to just for this brief time, just be inhaling and exhaling. So the only concentration is the air is going in, the air is going out. Your mind will wander. This is a very difficult task to ask your body to do. But as you get more sophisticated, you do Shavasana more. See if you can find a way to just, for this 2 or 3 minute period when you are doing Shavasana, to just breathe. So you release the shoulders into the ground. Broaden the trapezius muscles. Release the hips. Let the groins and thighs roll open. Let the energy and flow go out through the toes and the fingertips. Visualize the full, unkinked, unfettered flow from your heart of blood and oxygen throughout your body. So you can do Shavasana for 1 minute, for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, whatever works for you. But it's not a sleeping pose. It is an active pose where you are being aware of the breath and the body. So to end Shavasana, generally now, you can keep going if you want, but when you decide to end Shavasana, do it by gently rolling to the right side and staying there for several breaths. The general tendency coming out of this pose is just to pop up. So I'm going to ask you to not pop up, but to gently, using your arms and bringing your head up last, to come up into a sitting position. So you preserve the relaxed and quiet state of mind you've created in the Shavasana and the yoga practice. Part of why we do this. So very gently, using your arms, leaving your head down, and letting your head be the last thing that comes up into whatever for you is a comfortable seated position. Take a moment just to regard what's going on in your body, in your mind, and in your breath. Thank you for practicing with me. My name is Danny Mankin. I teach at Begin Pilates and Yoga in Portland, Oregon. Namaste.